terrific. It shows us live and playing right now on both our YouTube and our Facebook page. So I do want to double check that that is accurate. I already see a few folks that are starting to hop on. Most of you are aware we're just waiting for Facebook to keep alerting you that we are live, and we will begin momentarily. Most of you are aware All right. Well, good morning and happy Monday. New week, new start. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome you to our live broadcasts. Now, if this is your very first time on our page, do not let it be the last. Make sure that you hit the like button, you hit the follow so you can get notified when we go live. Of course, if you're a returning viewer, thank you for being on here with us. We've actually been hosting these live broadcasts for over a year now and had frequently begun them with our mayoral message every Monday, reserved for an update on our city, what's going on not only at City Hall, on our county level, of course, our state, all things related to COVID, resources and information. So we continue this on, of course, with you. Now, do your part and engage with us in the comment section of this broadcast. You can leave us with any good morning remarks, good morning pleasantries, any questions that you might have. Leave them into the chat section so that we can give you some shout outs. You can also feel free to just react to the video. If you have nothing to say, give us a thumbs up or a heart. I prefer that over the angry emoji. So hopefully you are so inclined to give us one of those. Now, at the very same time that we're streaming this here on our Facebook page, we are also streaming it on our YouTube channel for those of you that are currently watching it on that platform. And we are on all things social. If you have not already connected with us, we're on Instagram and Twitter at Westy Chamber. Of course, on LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. Always long-winded, but it's important that we connect with you on a variety of platforms because there's so much information to share. Each different platform allows for us to share it in a different way or just an entirely different piece of information and news. Now, I see our current board chairman, Peter Brissett, hopping onto the broadcast already with us, sharing a nice good morning message. And of course, welcome to Mayor Sites. We have Wayne Anderson, who is tuning in from our YouTube channel. I know that Wayne has been in Facebook jail for quite some time, so appreciate him tuning in from the YouTube channel and sharing a nice message both to the mayor and myself. And our past chairman, Brian Dice, thank you so much for hopping on. He's sharing a quick congrats and welcome to the show, Mayor Sites. So most of our fellow guests that are on here have been on here with us before, and this is no different. We've transitioned over the last couple of weeks and have our mayor really touch on how that has looked. But if you recall, we had a broadcast that really walked you through what this change looked like, what that meant for city council. But we'd love the opportunity to hear it straight from our Mayor Sites, to share an update on all things council and then loop in some COVID and updates. Just incredibly excited to have you on here.
Well, thank you so much. And if anyone's just logging on and they missed Juliette's introduction, it probably doesn't take much to notice that I am not Mayor Herb Atchison. As you all know, Mayor Atchison resigned unexpectedly a few weeks back as Mayor Pro Tem. The way our charter is written is I moved into the seat of mayor and will fulfill the remainder of his term. So that does mean that my initial term that I was elected to in 2019 is cut short by 2.5 years. But I am ready, honored, and eager to serve this community, and I'm excited for the opportunity. I wanted to just take a few moments to introduce myself to folks who maybe don't know me. I've been on the Westminster City Council since December of 2013. At that time, I was appointed to the Westminster City Council. It was a process similar to the process we have now. I believe there were 15 applicants. And I participated in the process, same timeline as everyone, submitted our resume. Each of us got interviewed by the council at that time. And I was unanimously appointed by the sitting council. Every member at that time did agree to have me serve. I fell in love with it. Municipal government is just, to me, one of the most impactful ways to make a difference in your community. Every single thing we do has an impact on people's quality of life, their ability to run a business, and to enjoy their time with their families. So I do not take this duty lightly, and am so honored to have it. While serving on city council, just to back up, I have been elected twice. I ran in 2015 and was the top vote getter at that time, and then ran again in 2019 and was handily reelected. So had quite a bit of experience over 7 years serving this community. I've served on the Environmental Advisory Board, the Human Service Board, the Parks, Recs, Libraries, Open Space Board, our Planning Commission. I'm on the board for the North Area Transit Alliance. I'm the Denver Regional Council of Government chair or a board member. I also serve the Northwest mayors and county commissioners on transportation issues. I formerly served on the Jefferson County Economic Development Corporation, and I am the current chair for the Colorado Municipal Policy Committee. I'm also the past president for Colorado Communities for Climate Action. So I've worked really granularly here, understanding issues facing Westminster and also understanding regional issues. My background, I have an undergraduate degree from the University of Northern Colorado, go Bears, and that is in earth science. And then I have a master's in business administration from Regis. I also received a fellowship to go to the Harvard Kennedy School of Government to study in their senior state and local government program. My background, I used to be a business owner. I also worked for my family's business. I did take time off while I was getting my MBA to help raise my kids, which I do not regret that time at all. It was a real gift that I could do that. I'm now the Director of Business Development and Marketing for a small financial firm here in Colorado. So that's a little bit about me. Now I just wanted to let you know, because of my vacancy, I think Juliet and the Chamber have done a good job educating you. There is an appointment process. The applications have closed, and I believe we have 14 individuals who have applied for that position. So we'll be doing interviews with them between June 1st and June 9th. But, you know, in sum, I am ready, I am honored, and I am eager to partner with the Chamber and with the community at large to serve Westminster.
Thank you so much, Mayor Seitz, and I apologize for hopping in and out. For some reason, my tech wants to be a little finicky this morning. We did have a few comments, and unfortunately, because I hopped in and off, it pulled them off of there. So I will just read them straight from my phone. This one is just hilarious, but Kyle was sharing, I thought the mayor was an old white guy.
Middle-aged white woman at this point in time.
Oh my goodness. And then we also have Councilor Bowles, who's sharing a quick congratulations on your new position, Mayor Seitz. Looking forward to continuing to serve with you to improve the quality of life in our city. And I think that's a great segue for folks that are hopped on here, for us to really talk a little bit more about your role right now on council, and what are some of the things that you guys are looking to tackle, maybe here this evening or just looking ahead.
Yeah, we're busy. There's a lot going on in the city of Westminster, and that's why it's so important that, you know, our charter has this provision, because we do need continuity of leadership. So just this last Sunday, my colleagues in council and I met, and we had a really wonderful budget retreat. So I am in the good position to give some good news, not just on COVID, but also on our local economy, and things are starting to look up. So we had a budget retreat that really wasn't as focused going forward on 2022, but letting us know we had an opportunity to relook at our budget for 2021. We're doing much better than we had anticipated. And so prioritizing where some of these dollars that are coming in that we didn't contemplate, where they should go, how do we reallocate them? So let me give you some examples of that. Sales tax receipts for the first quarter of 2021 were 6.6% higher than quarter one of 2020. Not super surprising. That tail end of first quarter 2020 was pretty rough, but very happy to see that. And for the city's top 25 shopping centers, that was 6% through April that those sales tax receipts were up. So when we did our budget cuts, we did a strategic hiring freeze, and we are with full reserves for 2020. We did not even have to tap into our reserves in 2020. We were contemplating that we would have to tap into our reserves in 2021, and with the additional tax revenue, looks like we're going to be able to not have to do that. So to keep our reserves at least close to whole, if not completely whole. And that's a real remarkable accomplishment. On Sunday, we did give direction to modify the city's 2021 budget, and that will fund the opening of additional city facilities and services. We did have some not so great news, and I think most of you business owners out there know this. The labor market has changed dramatically. So this is a pretty scary example, but applications received for seasonal worker jobs at the cities has decreased by 77% compared to quarter one 2020. I know the mayor's touched on this before, but it's really dramatic. If we don't have the staff capacity, we can't provide those services. So if anyone has students home from college that are looking for summer work, or people they know that are looking for work, City of Westminster is a great employer, so please have them send in their applications. We do contemplate we'll have increased labor costs going into 2022. It is a very tight labor market. And we're also going to look at, we've heard through our citizen surveys and through a lot of different points of contact that the condition of our roads is something that residents really worry about. People want to be able to get to their jobs, get there safely without hitting a pothole that ruins their alignment. So we're looking at ways to really stop the decline of our road system in Westminster and start to improve it. So to that end, we're looking at our infrastructure fees and a lot of other things to figure out how do we get a sustainable revenue source for that. So that's what we did last weekend. Before I go into tonight's agenda, Juliet, or do any members on want to ask questions about that? And I see that I have some of my colleagues from council are watching me. If anyone wants to chime in with their thoughts in the chat, please feel free to do that. I felt it was a great discussion. All voices were heard, and I thought we got to better policy decisions having such a robust conversation.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving us some of those key updates out of that budget. So we do have our former Mayor Pro Tem Alberto Garcia is tuned in. He just wanted to give us a quick remark of a congratulations to you, Mayor Seitz. You've been a great champion for business in our community, and he looks forward to continued hard work as the Mayor of Westminster. So thank you so much, Alberto, for that comment. We also have another comment from Councillor Scully, and Councillor Scully was also sharing a quick congratulatory note your way, of course, for your recent transition into the mayor role now here with City Council. Thank you, of course, for some of those key updates that you've provided from the budget meeting. Great to see some of the numbers are going up in terms of sales tax. It generally means that people are out there supporting our local community and putting their dollar back into those significant needs that we have. We touched on infrastructure being one of those key priorities that the survey continues to bring. And of course, it looks like I have a quick comment from Dave Carpenter. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this forward and read his message. Dave is providing a quick good morning message, of course, to myself and to you regarding the roads. He says, one thing we can do is not take away travel lanes for bike lanes, making it dangerous. I'm specifically speaking of 88th west of Harlan, where we have an inexplicable lane drop. So great feedback. Thank you, Dave. Was there anything that you wanted to provide on this before I keep pulling up comments, Anita?
Oh, no, I mean, I think that's a real valid conversation, right? There are folks that really want to keep streets dedicated just to cars, and there are folks that want to make sure that there's multiple modes of mobility, how they get around town. And so we do a lot of survey work around this, and bike lanes are incredibly popular, and that is how a percentage of our population gets around. They have a lot less wear and tear on the street, and they allow folks who don't have access to a car to get to work safely. But it is definitely a conversation, and it's always good to hear differing points of view.
Absolutely. Thank you. And of course, we have a nice message from Parker sharing a quick good morning. Parker, it's great to see you on here. I know you've been under the weather, so glad that you are back doing well. And of course, picking up on these live broadcasts. We have Peter sharing, looking forward to how we can continue to work with the city and the business community. Thank you, Peter, for chiming in with that. I think we have other folks that have popped into the broadcast, Christina and others. I see you guys tuned in. Thank you for paying attention to our mayoral message every Monday and tuning in to hear what's going on. And with that, I'll turn this back over to you. I know there are a number of items that we are eager for others to know about.
Yeah, so for anyone who's just wondering what they want to do with their Monday night, we have a riveting city council meeting for you to attend. It is going to be a packed agenda. And before I go through the action items, I would be really remiss if I didn't recognize that we are going to have a proclamation for Pride Month. Westminster is an inclusive community. And we, as a body, like to take a moment to recognize different subcultures, subgroups within our community. Because together we're the fabric of Westminster. So tonight we will be reading a proclamation for Pride because we want to remind everybody that our LGBTQ community is valued and provides wonderful contributions to our community. So we will be doing that. Moving on to the action items, we are going to be, there's issues on land use, environmental remediation. There's IGAs on affordable housing, the home grants. We have a lot of contracting and procurement. We'll be adopting our strategic plan. There's a lot more going on. I have included, or Juliet has just included now, a link so you can take a peek at the council meeting to see if you'd like to attend or if there's any issues you'd like to communicate before. If you want to send an email before or leave a voicemail before noon today, you can also have comments during public comments. We also have a post agenda tonight, which is going to be very fascinating. That is going to go over water and the proposed water rate increases. We got some information back from a survey that was done. So we'll be going over those results. We'll be talking about that council vacancy and the next steps. And how council would like to approach them. And then there's something that I think is really exciting, something I hear about a lot from residents is homelessness in Westminster. We seem to have had an uptick in individuals experiencing homelessness, and there is an opportunity for us to partner with some other local governments to take a tangible step to address this. That will also be on the agenda. So the link for the post agenda, I believe, has also been included. And that's what's coming up tonight. I would like to pause again and see if anybody has questions on those items as well.
Thank you so much. So I will just re-pull the link for the direct agenda is included into the comment section of this broadcast for those that are interested in seeing exactly what will be discussed. Of course, you have until noon today to reach out and let them know if you do have a public comment. So by the time that we're done with this broadcast, it'll be a little bit of a half an hour window for you to turn that around. And then of course, here is the agenda for the post general city council meeting that's this evening to discuss other items, including the appointments that were mentioned at the very start of this broadcast. We do have Mayor Pro Tem DeMont. My gosh, you guys changing your titles. I'm over here. He is sharing a good morning message your way, Mayor, and of course to myself, hello to you. Brian Dice asked us a question, and this related to the infrastructure topic that we just momentarily discussed minutes ago. He was referencing some infrastructure federal dollars. I believe the mayor may have alluded to this. Our previous mayor, Atchison, may have alluded to this. Of course, this has come from the federal dollars that are looking to support our local municipalities and communities. Do we know if there's any updates on the local use of those dollars potentially towards some of those needs that we are looking at as a city?
So that's a very good question. And so the subject of the budget retreat, they did not go very deep into ARPA funds. So that is the recovery funds that are going to be coming directly to the city. And I think they're about $15.7 million that Westminster will get. And they are contemplated to be used for a whole host of things to help support us rebound and be more resilient after COVID, including certain infrastructure, not all infrastructure, so specifically water and wastewater. My understanding is they aren't, I don't believe the Treasury Department is, I think there's a lot more stringent rules when it comes to streets. So the conversation that we had specific to street and concrete infrastructure was on that infrastructure fee that you see it on your bill, your water bill. So that is the only part of your water bill that does not go into the utility enterprise. It actually goes on your general fund, into the general fund. And right now, some multifamily folks living in multifamily don't pay that fee because it's assigned by water meter. And so the conversation was maybe having a little bit more equity and making sure that every resident, everybody who's going to be driving, you know, whether you live in a house or an apartment, your usage is probably not very much different of our roads. So just making sure we have a formula that's equitable. We also looked at potentially looking at road usage fees, so connecting it to the type of business, to the type of trips. But we as a council wanted to see a little bit more information on that. We recognize restaurants and a lot of retail businesses have had a exceptionally hard year, and before we change formulas, we wanted to understand what the impact would be on them. So probably more information than you wanted, but be careful if you ask me details. I love getting into the weeds.
Well, we have a great group of followers that are similar to you in that regard, Anita, and I think we will we'll see that with some of these questions that they always pepper your way. Our former past chairman Brian Head is sharing a nice good morning message to both myself and of course to you, Mayor Seitz as well. I believe he tagged you, and that's why your middle name even shows up. And a quick message from Jason Gank with a quick hello. We'll give you back a hello, traitor. I'm still salty about this, Jason. We can't. I know. I know I'm supposed to be happy for you as a friend, as a colleague, but we're not there yet. So you get some thumbs down. Those were some of those messages. Of course, I will interject and say, for anyone that did not follow kind of the resignation of our Mayor Atchison, I have included also the link to the city site that had information specific to that as well. So if anyone is hopping on and was curious about that and had not been at the start, of course, this video will be available to you at any point in time to rewind, rewatch, and understand that as well. So I will go ahead and transition it back to you, and let's keep on moving.
Okay, and I apologize for being so long-winded. This is my first rodeo doing this, so I will be more succinct next time. I did want to carry on the tradition of Mayor Atchison's giving you a COVID update on what does it look like in our region and in our state. So right now, and this data is as of the 20th, but statewide, between the 12th and the 20th, there was an additional 4,769 cases of COVID. And in Adams County, there was an additional 925. So it's still an issue. When you look at Jefferson County, there was an additional 730. And in the city of Westminster specifically, it was 162. The next data point is the most somber data point, and this is the number of lives lost. So statewide, between the 12th and the 20th, we lost 70 individuals. In Adams County, we lost 9 individuals, and in Jefferson County, we lost 10. In Westminster, we lost 3 of our neighbors to COVID. So while things are looking up, this is still very real, and this is having impacts on people's lives. Now let's talk about vaccinations. Initial doses statewide, we're at almost 3 million, not quite, 2,852,000. So that was an additional 105,000 doses over that week period. Fully immunized statewide is at almost 2.4 million people. We have 1,439 delivery sites statewide. So there's lots of places that you can go and get your vaccine. It is not inconvenient any longer. It is no longer like trying to, I was sitting there on refresh, looking and looking for my family. It is not like that any longer. It's pretty easy to find a place to get the vaccine. Adams County had an additional 26,947 vaccines. Jefferson County had an additional 30,910. So Adams County fully immunized is just under 43%. In Jefferson County, you're winning this. You're at 57% fully vaccinated. We would really, I know for those of you out there that are parents, that are comfortable with the vaccine, this was a great last period of time. Having my 12 or 13-year-old son and my 14-year-old daughter get the vaccine was wonderful, and having their first dose. But like many of you, I also have a 10-year-old daughter. And so we're still being cautious and wary because she doesn't have the option to get the vaccine. I can give you some more statistics. Westminster trends, the daily average is still, let's see, between last week, it went down to 23.1 people contracting that. And that was a decrease from the previous week of 6.1 per day. So that we're going in the right direction. These are good numbers and a good trend. Statewide, similarly, the trend is going down. The daily average was 681 people. That's less by 556 people than the week before. So really, we're starting to turn the corner, and I think anyone who was out and about this weekend could feel that. So let's talk about some more good news, and that is level clear. So as you all know, we have entered into what level clear as of May 16th. And as long as we stay under the 2 hospital admissions per day, we're going to stay in clear. And so what does that really mean for you? It means businesses can operate at 100% capacity with no mitigation requirements. So this is going to be a game changer for a lot of businesses. But I think we as consumers need to, again, be respectful that there are members in our community who can't get the vaccine. And so still try to, just as you wouldn't smoke in front of someone, right next to someone with a baby, just be a little bit cautious if you see those young kids. The mask mandate, that has been a source of confusion and questions for a lot of people. So I just want to go through some history on that. Westminster no longer has our mask mandate. We did lift that on April 12th. Jefferson County lifted their mask mandate on May 15th, and Tri-County also on May 15th lifted their mask mandate. So now we are operating under the Colorado mask rules, the mask order. And so that's going to be places like schools, congregant care facilities, prisons, where non-vaccinated people are, where you still need to wear a mask. But in other situations, all vaccinated people do not need to wear a mask, either outdoors or indoors. If you are not vaccinated and you have not been or you're not fully vaccinated, you haven't been 2 weeks past that second shot, it's still recommended that you wear a mask. No one's going to police you on this, but it's kind of the honor system. We're asking you to do the right thing for the full community. It's your personal choice, but just be respectful of other people's choices as well. And then I just also I thought this might be important for some folks. I don't know about you, but I used the Fat Cats testing quite a bit. I thought it was just my responsibility when we were meeting in person with my colleagues. I'd always want to go get tested beforehand, so I wasn't potentially infecting anyone. That site, we have had over 24,000 tests administered. So that was a wonderful opportunity. A lot of people participated in it. But as of the 31st of May, operations are only planned at this point to go through the 31st of May till 7:00 p.m. So that is probably going away at this point as we see more and more folks vaccinated and less usage.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Mayor. A lot of information that you were trying to get us. I know that we're getting close on time, but we've got some engagement that's hopped on here in a little bit, so I don't want to lose sight of that. A little bit of humor, so I'm going to inject those here momentarily. Okay, so Jason is saying that's why the Parks and Recreations is our favorite department. Brian is also sharing that congratulations on your new role. He's had the opportunity to work with you on a number of issues, and appreciate that you listen and you're thoughtful even when there are differing opinions in the room. Congrats again to you as well. Alberto's asking a great question, and I would second this, and that is if you can issue a mayoral decree to make Jason stay.
Yeah.
No.
That's not a charter given duty, so out of my purview, but we can just make him feel really guilty for the remaining weeks.
I agree.
All jokes aside, I do want to say this, like, obviously Jason has been an amazing asset to this community. His vision of how Parks and Recs can be leveraged to build community affinity, community participation, and really like public health and access has been remarkable. Under his leadership, we have seen a lot of growth in our Parks Department. We've seen the Westy Beer Fest. Who doesn't love Westy Beer Fest? The Spring Egg Hunt. I mean, just some really creative, wonderful programming. And so he's going to be sorely missed. So he put a joke question in there, which is, tell us why that's your favorite department. But I will tell you why it's an important department. A lot of people think just about police and fire, and clearly those are critically important, or just about roads. But community is more than core services. Community is about the connections that we have with each other. And that's something that Parks and Recs, Libraries, and Open Space does for our community. And that's why we see open space in our parks as one of the number one thing our community cares about. So long-winded way of saying, I'm going to miss you, Jason, but I am so proud of the team that you have cultivated. And I know they're going to be able to continue your work.
Thank you for that. And of course, we have Councillor Seymour sharing a nice good morning message to everyone. So all of your fellow dais members are nearly all on here. Wayne's question was about the masks, or about level clear being both for Adams and Jeffco. I do believe that you touched on this.
Correct. It is for both Adams and Jeffco. We are in level clear. In both Adams and Jeffco, we are not above that 2 admissions per day that would get us into level blue. And so we are looking good, and both have lowered their mask mandates. So I guess the law of the land is now the state's.
Yes. And then Parker did hop on, and just kind of mindfulness is what I hope you all get out of this as well, whether it's on vaccines, mask wearing, or even supporting local businesses during this time. Be mindful and respectful of everyone's decisions individually, of course, of the businesses as well, whether someone is doing something or is not. And so as you go and you frequent those businesses, of course, know that they are working their best to bring their staff back into their restaurants. There are numerous things that are going on right now at the state level to try and help with this. But of course, wait times, things of that nature should be factored in. And when you do factor them in, please be just mindful of the situations that they're in. We have Adams County Treasurer as well, Lisa Culpepper, sharing good data our way. And I know that Emilio and a couple others are on this broadcast. Believe it or not, Mayor Seitz, we are at the end of our time. We're over our time. I told you this would this would fly by. And I was not wrong. You had a lot of great information to share. Of course, tonight is City Council. The agenda is included into the comment section of this broadcast. If you are hopping onto this video, it sounds like I'm a smoker. If you're hopping onto this video later on, you can always still ask us questions. You can do so in the comment section or DM the page, and we will get that answered for you at a later point in time. Of course, if you have not already done so, please hit the share button on this video so others in your network can hear all about the information that's been placed out there, from COVID numbers, vaccine numbers, all the way to information that's being handled at City Council and City Hall. And if you are already tuned in with us, thank you for spending a portion of your morning engaging with us, laughing laughing with us and being serious and asking us questions on things that matter to you as well. And of course, Mayor Sides, appreciate you being on here and of course continuing to move our broadcast forward. We've been doing these for over a year now, and it's nice to continue with that continuity.
And then can I ask one quick question?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. There was a comment from Mr. Carpenter in regards to the bike lanes, and he was giving specific concerns about the placement. If you want to email that to me, I can forward it on to our transportation engineers and get, I'm obviously not a transportation engineer, but I can put you in charge or put you in contact with the people who could have a more robust conversation on that.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for catching that, Dave. I was not looking you over. We will get this comment addressed for you. Appreciate you sharing that you're not against all bike lanes. I know that you are a strong supporter of Bike to Work Day and are generally out there even cleaning up the city. So we appreciate your involvement as a community member and of course in the business community. With that, I'll let you go with 5 minutes over, and I hope you have a terrific rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Juliet, and thank you, Chamber, for all your work and for allowing me to talk your ears off. I get excited about the city, and it's a topic I could talk all day about.
It definitely shows. Thank you.